Perspective is an important thing. Take, for example, the fact that here in the Chinese market, if you got around $20,000 to buy a midsize SUV, you can choose between a steeply discounted Chevrolet Equinox with a 1.5-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, or you can choose this, the Neta L, an extended range EV that's more competitive than that car in almost every way.
Welcome to Wheelsboy, where we cover the newest, coolest, and wildest vehicles from the Chinese car market. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
Wheelsboy is now offering YouTube memberships. A huge thank you to those of you who have already joined the Fanny Pack Club, as we call it, by giving a small monthly contribution to support our videos. In return, members of the Fanny Pack Club get early access to our videos, as well as members-only video content. If you are unable or unwilling to support us through a monthly contribution, don't worry, continue to like, watch, and share our videos, because every little bit helps.
Our test car is a top spec model, so it actually comes in at a little over $22,000. As we will see, you get a whole lot for that amount of money, but let's start by talking about the looks.
I've been pretty impressed by the transformation that Neta has undergone over the past couple of years. From a producer of drab little EVs to the people that brought us the Neta S sedan and the Neta GT electric sports coupe. Things were looking up at Neta. They were looking exciting, sporty even. Then they dropped the Neta L. And the Neta L is many things, but it's not especially sporty. But that's okay, considering what it is. While the Neta S has dramatic slashes for daytime running lights and separate lower headlight units, the face of the Neta L is much more conservative, much more traditional crossover, and more in line with other Neta SUVs. It does retain some of that Neta sporty design in the bowed shape of the front end here, but overall, it just feels a bit more mainstream.
Down the side and rear, nothing really stands out styling-wise. The taillights somewhat mimic those of the Neta S, but the brand has clearly played it safe with this car, and that makes sense. After all, it's aimed at one of the most competitive mass-market segments.
This is a functional, well-priced family SUV, so practicality and value are much more important than trying to redefine what it means to be an SUV with edgy design the way that, say, the Li Auto Mega did with its MPV styling. And I'm okay with that. Speaking of practicality, the 4.77-meter Neta L has 583 liters of space behind the second row. If you lay that second row down, you get 1,434 liters. Back here, you also have a bi-level storage area thanks to this movable storage cover like that. However, I don't think this design is quite as user-friendly as the one we recently saw on the Galaxy E5. There will be pure electric versions of the Neta L available in the future, but for now it is only available as an extended range EV. All versions of these extended range Neta Ls use the same combination of naturally aspirated 1.5-liter four-cylinder and rear-mounted electric motor, making 170 kilowatts and 310 newton-meters of torque. There are, however, two different LFP battery packs available. Base cars get a 30 kilowatt-hour pack with a claimed CLTC range of 220 kilometers, while all three trim levels above that get a 40 kilowatt-hour pack with a claimed range of 310 kilometers. If you fill the Neta L with all the gas and electricity you can, its claimed CLTC range is 1,300 kilometers. According to Neta, the L is also the fastest charging extended range EV in the world, able to go from 30 to 80% in just 19 minutes. I need you to brace yourself, because I'm about to show you a world's first. In this center console is a refrigerator, which is not a world's first. What is a world's first, according to Neta, is this. Dual hinged opening refrigerator in a center console. I don't know how many Neta Ls they're going to sell based solely on this innovation alone, but hey, world's first. I would actually argue this isn't a great place to have a refrigerator because I don't know about you, but this is where I keep most of the stuff I use while driving. And honestly, I don't need my charging cables capped at a -6 degrees Celsius. The Neta L comes standard with a 15.6-inch center screen. However, this top spec car also gets this, a 15.6-inch passenger screen. The UI for this center screen, which is powered, by the way, by a 8155 Snapdragon processor, is not great. I don't find it particularly easy to navigate or attractive. I don't like the way that they layer the menus on top of each other. It's not my favorite thing about the car, not by far. The third and final screen in here is your instrument cluster, the UI of which I actually quite like because it's very simple. It's just white on black. Everything is very legible. Front row seats on this top spec model are also heated, ventilated, and massaging. You also get a wireless charging pad here on the center console. There ends the good news when it comes to the interior of the Neta L, because when it comes to fit, finish, and material quality, well, yeah, it's bad. If you merely look at the top of the doors, you would say, wow, that's actually pretty nice. Go a little farther down, still pretty nice. You got this faux quilted leather, but keep going down and you start running into some sub-Lego level plastic qualities, especially this pattern here on the door and on the dashboard. It's just nasty to the touch, I'm not gonna lie. Down here, even more hard plastic. Fit and finish, well, everything squeaks. Everything squeaks and rattles on this car that has only been driven 4,600 kilometers. The thing is, what you also get for that money, which again is like 22,000 US dollars here in the Chinese market, in addition to a passenger screen, you also get a zero gravity mode for your passenger. The second row doesn't have zero gravity seats, but they are heated. There's no physical button for turning them on. Instead, you have to use voice commands from here in the second row. You also have this, a fold-out table. Quite stable, a little high to use for working on your laptop, for example, but definitely good enough for eating lunch back here if you needed to. Closing that up, you've also got two USB charging ports, Type-C and Type-A, as well as a 12-volt outlet. When it comes to space, headroom, quite capacious, as you can see, and legroom, thanks to the 2.81 meter wheelbase, no problem at all. You've also got a good amount of space to put your feet under the front seat so you can achieve a nice little seating position. If you'd like to learn more about how you can export a Neta L to your country, reach out to us via email at sales@wheelsboy.cn, where we can connect you with a reliable exporter of Chinese cars. Neta says that the base version of the Neta L can get to 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour in 7.3 seconds, whereas the larger battery pack version like this takes 8.2 seconds. Both of those times are more than fast enough for our family SUV. And remember, we're talking about electric motors here. So the electric motor power curve means that getting off the line, well, this thing feels a little bit quicker even than that. When the 4-cylinder range extender up front actually turns on, which will happen automatically when it reaches a certain low state of charge for the battery, or you can do manually, so to speak, through the center screen by changing your powertrain mode, it's not especially noticeable. It's just a little bit more background hum and some vibration through the steering wheel. It's definitely got lower NVH than the low displacement, or rather small displacement engines you find in other midsize SUVs, because remember, it's under a lot less strain. It's just acting as a generator for the battery and the motor. It's not being asked to actually move the vehicle. Neta has their own driver assistance system they call ND Pilot. It is vision-based, no LiDAR units or anything, but it's still L2 capable. It's got lane keep assist as well as lane change assist, so you can activate lane changes via the turn signal and it will change lanes for you. It's not very fast, these lane changes, but they are pretty smooth. I like this system. I also like the fact that it's in the sweet spot for driver assistance systems, at least for me. Smart enough to be useful on a long road trip, but not so smart that it tries to do things that it's not actually capable of doing. Then you turn the steering wheel to enter a corner and things just kind of fall apart from there. This thing has very video gamey steering and a very soft suspension with tons of body roll, both of which I expect from Chinese cars at this point. But it goes over the edge from softly sprung to poorly tuned. A good suspension should, when it hits a bump, bounce maybe once or twice and then settle. This car, however, bounces once and then keeps on bouncing, just kind of pogoing its way down the road, it's not a very premium feeling. I'm someone who's driven hundreds of cars, so I'm gonna notice it much more quickly than your average person, but even your average person will be able to tell you this thing doesn't ride as well as, say, their Honda. So it doesn't ride or handle as well as, say, the BYD UN Plus that we use as a company vehicle here at Wheelsboy. But then again, our BYD UN Plus is smaller than this car, and it also doesn't have heated, ventilated, and massaging front row seats. It also doesn't have twin 15.6-inch center screens, and it also doesn't have a refrigerator in the center console. So there's that. So it seems pretty clear where Neta put their money when it came time to develop the L, and it wasn't in interior material quality and chassis tuning. Still, I don't think that's going to keep it from being a competitive product here in the Chinese market, thanks to the interior features, the extended range powertrain, and the low price. That goes double when they export.